Is it going to be the worst? If I see a LeBron step back, I might. If we're going to take something out, why is the LeBron step back still in the game? Pro play where? I have never in my life seen a human being step back 10 feet in one step back and be able to shoot perfectly off that and be perfectly balanced. You know what I'm saying? Face reveal UQD. Hey, we are 300 likes away. But guys, I've showed my face before, like plenty of times. It's a really weird thing. Really weird thing. I'm not sure how it's honestly a joke, like a meme, like an inside joke at this point. Every time I show my face, bro, it's like, oh, I didn't know this. I've never seen your face before. It's like, damn, when is it gonna end? I have no bag and I don't use LeBron setback. Oh, maybe you need the LeBron setback then. Maybe you need it. Glorious King James. I got YouTube Premium. Guys, we're right there. I feel the aura badgie. Ayo. Guys, badge plug is a cutie patootie. Wow. Refresh. Let me see. People are going to be uploading early. I just know it. They got to be. They're itching to get it out. Oh, Juice Man. Exclusive LeBron James and Bronny gameplay. Let's see. Let's end this right there. Take this off the thing. Remove it. We actually have gameplay. Ladies and gentlemen, let's hop into it. Let's turn these beats off and let's get it, bro. Let's get it. Drop a like, bro. We are literally about to see 2K25 gameplay. Come on. We are about to see it right now. Here we go.
You know there's an...
Oh, yeah. I should have got YouTube Premium for this stream. All right, let's go. We are locked in, boys.
Yes, sir. We officially on this NBA2K25, and I want to say shout out to NBA2K for inviting me out to Community Day to get the early content. You feel me? And then shout out to all you guys, my supporters. This is one of the videos.
Hey, I'm not gonna lie. I do want to see some gameplay. Here we go. Hold on.
It feels more fluent, and what I mean by that, I know.
Including speed boosting. We've got the new go-to shots that can lead to some insane greens. We've got the shot rating you need to green consistently. We've got the mid-range game covered for all you midi magicians out there. We've got the new rhythm shooting system. And for all you slashers, we've got a detailed meter dunking breakdown. We're gonna cover the all-new shot contest system. And for all the centers, we cover the standing dunks and the paint mash. We've got Devin Booker floaters. We've got scoopers. Everything you need to know about layups. We've got everything from paint defense to perimeter bumps to bump steals. Lockdown, stay tuned. Of course, we're going to break down post scoring, and spoiler alert, it's really good again. We've got ankle breakers, blowout dribbles, Patty Mills jump shot. Everything you want to know about NBA 2K25 is in this video. Drop a like. Let's get it to 10,000 likes, and let's get into it. And let's talk about dribbling. Okay, there was a lot of things floating around the internet about how you could not speed boost on this game. I don't know. Listen, y'all gotta be careful who y'all talk to. You can speed boost on 2K25, okay? Let's chill. You can speed boost, okay? Was it different? Absolutely. Is it gonna take us a little while to figure out how to speed boost out of every single move on the game? Of course. Just like 2K24, in the beginning of the game, nobody could speed boost out of stuff. People were spamming Magic Johnson crossover for like 2 months, right? It took us a while. People thought you had to have Kyrie Irving dribble style to speed boost. And then we realized, okay, you got to do a hezzy out of each dribble move, and then you can burst cleanly. It's going to be something like that along the lines for 25 as well. we just got to find the sauce. People like Young Dirk and Koza were doing a lot more dribble labbing than me. I just tested it a little bit. I speed boosted with De'Aaron Fox, with John Morant, with LeBron James. And for those of you that were also wondering, LeBron hotback is back. You know, you still get the big hotback. And for the small guards, I mean, Chris Paul's got the same thing. So LeBron hotback is back. You're going to be doing it. The combos, the quick little combos that like Steph Curry has to like dance behind a screen, and John Morant right there to like get into the mid-range, they felt pretty smooth, pretty clean. I lapped up a little bit. You know, you could spam like the Ja aggressive combo breakdown. And I chained together some decent little moves. In my opinion, the big players almost moved better than the small players. But like, look at, I'm speed boosting with De'Aaron Fox, like no problem. And this was me labbing for like 5 to 10 minutes, you know. So that whole thing, people were tweeting, oh, there's no speed boosting. I don't know what these people, I don't know if they played the same game as me, but you see the cross launch on the crossover right there, little like quick, I guess kind of quick stop pull up, the magic crossover into like the John Wall crossover to the hoop right here. There's definitely going to be some ways to get open. We just gotta, you know, 20 minutes of labbing the demo game at Community Day is not enough. It's going to take a little while. You see the John Wall snatchback from last year. There's a lot of ways that we're going to figure out to get open, whether you're on a bigger player, a smaller player. You can speed boost. Dribbling is different, 100%. Just like every other year. We got to lab it up. We got to find out the best SIGs. We're using NBA players. NBA players, even a Kyrie Irving, De'Aaron Fox, a Trae Young, they do not have optimized SIGs. They have a couple good SIGs, but they don't have like your My Player where you have, you know, one of the best animations in every category. They might have 1 or 2 or 3 good dribble moves in their package of whatever it is, 10 dribble moves, let's say, while your My Player has 10 good animations. All animations you have are good and give you clean bursts and clean movement. These guys are, you know, they're NBA players. They have their actual SIGs. Some of them are trash. Some of their SIGs are trash. Just a bug almost hit me in the eye. Some of their SIGs are trash every year, right? So let's relax. I think we're going to be fine. Just like at the beginning of 24, it felt stiff, it felt slow. Nobody could figure out how to move cleanly and speed boost. And like I said, people were spamming Magic Johnson crossover for like a month or two. We're going to figure it out. When it comes to Steezo's going to go crazy on this game. I was able to like dribble backwards a little bit, and I'm not I'm not Steezo. Steezo's going to go absolutely insane on this game. All right, so let's look at the new shot timing profiles. You have layup timing and shot timing profiles. So for layup timing, you have real player percentage, low, normal, and high risk. You still have your shot timing visual cue. At least in the demo version, you couldn't create the custom cue that they had talked about, so you could just choose from the ones from last year, so I put it on push. And then for the shot timing profile, you see it's set to difficulty based, which is basically it just automatically adjusts depending on the difficulty you're playing on, so I don't know how that's going to work with online gameplay, if that's going to be an option, but you still have real player percentage, low, normal, and high risk. And essentially, you can read the descriptions here, but the higher the risk you go, the more your timing matters. And I'm going to be honest, unless you have bad Wi-Fi or you're just extremely new to 2K, after testing normal and high risk and all these options, everyone's going to play on high risk. Like everyone that plays the game and is, I'd say, average to above average, unless you have bad Wi-Fi, you're going to play on high risk because it gives you more control over whether you green or not. And shooting on high risk, as you're going to see, even with low 3-point ratings, I was still able to spark. So here's what I was talking about. You see I have it set to high risk reward on your shot timing profile, okay? And I'm using Ja Morant here. The difficulty is on Hall of Fame, and we're going to go in and we're going to check out Ja's 3-point rating. It is a 78 3-point rating, and I did go look at his badges after. He has no limitless range, so not even bronze limitless range. He's got a few shooting badges, if I remember correctly, but I just looked to see if he had limitless. It's on Hall of Fame, and like I was, this is using Ja's jump shot base with no jump shot boost. I don't think he had any 3-point hot zones, and I was still able to just green. So in my opinion, if you're not using high risk, high reward, you're going to be at an extreme disadvantage, especially when you play against other good players. Like I said, unless you have bad Wi-Fi or something, you're going to be on that high risk. Now, the next thing I wanted to test was limitless range. It's on Hall of Fame, and I'm shooting from the logo. Steph has Hall of Fame limitless range. So, you know, this year you can get legend limitless range, but no NBA players that we played on had legend badges. So I wasn't able to test any legend badges. But as you can see, I can shoot from basically the center circle with Hall of Fame limitless. Now, Steph does have a 99.3, but he only has half limitless. So it's going to be interesting to see what that legend limitless is like. Let's move on. All right, let's talk about the new stick shooting. Okay, obviously we've read about it. Now this is it in action. Basically, it gives you two timings. It gives you a feedback on the first initial push of the stick in terms of your timing, and then it gives you a second reading at the bottom that talks about your tempo. Now, if you green both the timing and the tempo, you make it every time from what I saw. If you green one or the other, you make it a decent amount of the time. But as you see in the screenshot, you got the timing and the tempo, and you know, right here, I got great timing, great tempo, so they're both green. You make the shot every time from what I saw. But the main problem I think is going to come with this is, let's look at the two situations. First of all, catch and shoot. When you're catching and shooting using the stick shooting, it seemed like there was a slight delay. Like there was a little bit of a hitch in terms of how fast you could get the shot off. And maybe I was just doing it wrong because it was the first time playing the game. But even people that I talked to, they kind of said they felt like they could shoot much quicker. Like you could instantly shoot the ball if you shot with the button on catch and shoots. And there was that slight hitch, slight delay using the stick, which obviously is going to lead to your shot getting contested more because you can't get the shot off as quickly. The other situation besides catch and shoot is dribbling. And obviously it's something new, and I was only experimenting with it for a few minutes on this demo version of 2K25, but to go from comboing dribble moves to then shooting with the stick, it felt very awkward, and maybe that's just because it's new. If I had to guess whether people are going to use it or not, I would say majority of people will not use this. Kind of like the shot aiming back in 2K21. I think it was 2K21 if y'all remember that. I feel like it's going to kind of be like that. You'll get a few people experimenting with it, but for the most part, people are going to stick with that button shooting, especially with the high risk option. I just feel like it was so consistent, even with that, even with John Morant, with the 78 3 ball. Like imagine, you know, are my players with much higher ratings, with jump shot boost, with hot zones, lethal zones, etc., etc. Y'all, you guys understand what I'm saying. The one situation I think I could see people potentially using the stick shooting is on fades. Now these clips are from my boy Swag. He was testing it out and he said it felt really good when he was just kind of running to the side and shooting like a mid-range fade. So maybe people will use that. He said he would kind of experiment with it more and consider it. But for someone like me who's typically ISOing, I don't see myself comboing up and creating space and then using the stick to shoot. So experiment with it as you want. I'll probably test it out a little bit more, but I think I'm just going to be shooting with the button on that high risk, high reward. Go-to shots. These are actually pretty cool. How effective will they be? I'm not sure. And did they soup up the green window on these? I don't know, because I was greening reds and yellows on these like crazy. And yes, this is on Hall of Fame. That is a very tight red coverage that we're going to get into shortly. On Hall of Fame difficulty over Michael Jordan, who has straight Hall of Fame defensive badges. Here's another one right here with Kevin Durant, and it's a greened another red contest over Chris Middleton. So the go-to shots, the reason I like them is just because they look really, really nice. Aesthetically, they are very pleasing. They look very like, they literally, as a fan of the NBA, they look just like the player movements from real life. Now, some of them are a little slow and they don't create a lot of space. So I don't know how much people will actually use them in like online gameplay. But the one thing that is good about these, as we read in the courtside report, if you watched that video or read about it yourself, you can, at any moment out of those combinations, you can speed boost out of it. You can also at any moment, as you, let's say you go tween, behind the back, tween, hop. At any moment in that sequence, you can do a different dribble move. So let's say I go tween, behind the back, tween, and then I want to just do like an escape and run right. I can escape and run right at any moment within that whole sequence. And that's like the shot canceling feature that they were talking about. And I was a little skeptical because I was like, well, on past 2Ks, you could shot cancel, like you do a hop jumper, you just don't shoot it, right? You do a hop jumper and then just like run out of it. But it was much smoother, like they said, I will say. So we'll have to experiment with it. I'm sure everyone's gonna find like the one or two good like signature go-to shot that creates a ton of space or allows you to like really hop away and then like combo out of that and get to the basket or whatever. People are always gonna find like the most effective ones and use them online. But from a visual standpoint, they looked really good. And I don't know if they souped up the green windows, like I said, but I was green and contested signature go-to shots a lot, and all the gameplay you see in this video is on Hall of Fame. Off dribble shooting, for those of you that love the mid-range and love the hop jumpers and fades and all that, it felt really good. I'll be honest, obviously I'm using Kevin Durant and some other really good high-rated players, but it felt very greenable. Yellows, reds, I think the mid-range is going to be lethal again on this game. Like, it's going to be something people can go to with the front fades, the side fades, the back fades, the hop jumpers, spin shots, all the stuff that all you like midi loving players loved about 24. I feel like the mid-range is going to be just as effective on this game. So yeah, whether you're shooting the signature shots, the hop shots, the fades, the mid-range is definitely going to be back this year, in my opinion. Of course, I'm just playing against the AI, but I think I get a pretty good sense of it from what I tested, and middies are going to be good yet again. Let's get into meter dunking. Now, the first thing you might see, the actual meters, there is no green window that it shows. So in order to determine whether it's a good or a bad dunk attempt, I'm not really sure. It's a bit of guesswork. Did it feel good? Oh, it still felt good. Yep, it still felt real good. I did not green all of them, so it wasn't like super duper easy to the point that you could just be brain dead and do it. All of these are on Hall of Fame. But as I said, there's no green window to tell you if it's like in 24, for example, you'd say, oh, it's a big meter or a small meter. You know, they talked about the dunk meter logic was going to change, and it wasn't just going to be straight up big or straight up tiny. Like, there was going to be in between, but we don't even know if we don't really even know what is considered an in between or what's considered a big meter, small meter. We don't know any of that, because when you go up, regardless of which of the 3 dunk meters you pick, it doesn't show you a green window. And the same is for standing dunks that we're going to get into in a second. So I guess it's going to be a lot of trial and error on what's a good take and what's like super greenable. The one thing I will say is going against smaller play, like Ja dunking on a guard, definitely felt a lot easier as I miss one on Dinwiddie. I mean, I show that. The one thing I will say is the opponent, the defender mattered. For example, like trying to dunk on Draymond felt a lot more difficult than trying to dunk on a guard, like a Kyrie Irving or something. Like, it definitely felt like the defender's attributes and badges mattered more than it did on 24, which overall is a good thing. I think that makes sense. But like I said, without being able to see the green window, you really don't know what's a good or a bad take. It's going to be a lot of trial and error. Did it still feel good? Absolutely. Let's get into shot contest. So they took away percentages. And from what I understand, there won't be percentages in the real game either. So there's wide open, I think there's open, and then there's light pressure, which is a yellow contest, and then there's tight, which is a red contest. And then another degree that I saw was very tight, but it was also red colored. So I'm assuming it's just like obviously a heavier contested tight shot, but we don't know like how much more of an effect that has. Now, the bigger question I have is some of these shot contest systems. So I just have 2 examples here because I don't want to go on and on for hours and hours, but check this out. Okay, KD pulls up, it's a light pressure, okay, shooting it over Brook Lopez. Now let's check out this MJ fade over Dwayne Wade. That's a red. So let's break this picture down. I froze it at the release point of both of their jump shots. If you see the first one on the left with Dwayne Wade, I reached. I'm the defender in this situation. I tried to like get a strip animation or something like that. So there is no hand even above Michael Jordan's waist at the time of him releasing that fade. And I got a red contest. Now on the flip side over here with Kevin Durant, Brook Lopez contested this shot pretty damn well. Like his hand is all the way up basically by Durant's wrist, almost right by his hand. It might be like one of those in real life where you shoot and the defender, you know, you high five the defender as you release the ball. Like he's right there, and that's a yellow. So that makes me think maybe Dwayne Wade's perimeter is much higher than Brook Lopez's. Maybe his challenger is much higher, or Is it going to go back to contests where it just really depends on where you're standing? Like if you're in the hitbox, a hitbox probably isn't the right term, but you understand what I'm saying. If you're like right up against the defender, even without a hand up, is it going to be a red this year? Because I'm going to be honest, though, the jump shot that KD's taking looks a hell of a lot more contested than the one that Michael Jordan's taking. And like I said, the Jordan contest was a red and the KD contest was a yellow. I'm not really sure about this. I'm not really sure. Obviously, online gameplay will be the ultimate determining factor on like how we feel about shot contests, but this was just something that I noticed when I was going back over all the gameplay that I had, and I was like, man, like that looks way more contested than the other one, and the other one registered as a red, so I'm not really sure how I feel about shot contests, and I can't really give you guys a good answer on if it's better, worse, or the same, or whatever the case may be, as opposed to 24. So this is one, my bad. I'm just showing you the example. I can't give you an answer on this one. So let's talk about them taking away the percentages real quick. Immediately my brain goes, man, like, there's a big difference between a 6% yellow contest and a 36% yellow contest. And we're not going to know that this year. So does that mean every single light contest is exactly the same? Does that mean, you know, obviously depending on the level of your challenger and your perimeter defense, does that make it easier to get a red contest instead of a yellow? Or is it just across all, you know, is whatever's a yellow is a yellow regardless of badges, but then because of the level of the badge will be like how effective that yellow contest is. It just kind of raises a lot of questions about how effective shot contests are going to be, because you're not going to really know in great detail what level the contest is. It's just either open, wide open, yellow, or red. Like there's no more information than that. And from what I was told, it's not getting added to the real game. Like this, the way it was in the demo is how it's going to be in the game. Let's talk about some standing dunks, some paint mash, something for you centers. Now, standing dunks, first of all, were really OP in 24 because of the jab step. No more jab steps in the paint. Every time you try to jab step, you see right here, it's just, you pump fake, pump fake, pump fake. There's no more, you can't Kobe jab in the paint or do any triple threat jab in the paint. Now, the one thing I will say about the standing meter dunks, just like the driving meter dunks, because there's no green window, you don't really know what is a good one and a bad one. So it's going to, again, be a lot of trial and error. Did I green some? Absolutely. You can also still standing contact dunk with X. I got a couple of those in there in the limited amount of time where I was testing this. Paint mashing, until we play against other human beings, is going to be tough to really get a read on it. But one thing I will say is like moving people out of the way and going up with close shots did feel pretty effective. Obviously, all these guys have high close shot like Giannis and Wembanyama, but look at like Giannis pushing Kevin Durant in and then going up and getting a layup, still greening it over light pressure. I feel like paint mashing could be determined a lot more this year off of potentially close shot, but more importantly, having some post control, because without the jab step, to be able to create the space and be able to create the room that you need to be able to standing dunk or standing layup, I feel like could be a challenge, because that was the main reason on 24 it was so good, because of the jab. The jab would get you that separation, get the defender off of you, and then you could go up. But without having the jab, you're going to have to go to other ways. And maybe post control becomes a little bit more important for a center who's looking to be an offensive option down low. We'll have to wait and see, like I said, until we play online, because just against the AI, it's never really a true read on how it's going to be. All right, let's get into some layups. Now, layups on 24 were really good, and as the year went on, more and more people found out about how good they were, and people started making the Devin Booker floater builds. The animation is still in the game. I didn't test it for too long, so I just got a couple clips for you there. I missed one, I made one. But also in the game, scoopers. Scoopers are back. You still get the cheese body-to-body scooper animation. They did not remove that. Now, the thing about this is, I don't even know if the devs know this is in the game. Like, once people found this move out, they did it a lot in Pro-Am. I know some people did it in the stage. It was a bit more of a sweaty move, but basically, you could just body through somebody even if they had a 99 strength and you had no strength. Strength had nothing to do with it, and that's why I'm not sure the devs even know this is in the game. So that body-to-body, like, scooper cheese layup animation is still a thing, and it is still very effective. I greened some yellows with it, and most of them said open. Now, Also with that, there's some cool new animations like that, where it's like the dude's kind of pushing LeBron in the back, and it just looks cool, and overall layups did feel very, very effective. Now, again, it's against the AI. Like, we have to wait and see how it feels online, but overall, layups, they felt good. The D-Book floater's back, the scooper's back. Even if you don't get the scooper cheese like where you the body-to-body scooper cheese, just even regular scoopers felt good. I greened a lot of layups, and then even like with the smaller players, like if they take you out of a dunk, you can green the layup. Those of you that were asking me to test the layups, I would definitely say for those of you that love layup builds and all that, it's definitely going to be viable again. There might even be some good new layup animations. We'll have to wait and see, you know, if we find like something even better than the D-Book floater this year or whatever. But definitely was fun to do the layups. There's some cool new animations that I noticed. And for those like more sweaty players, the D-Book's back. The body-to-body scoopers are back. Those are all still going to be really effective. Now let's talk about some defense. Pluck steals were kind of tough to test, but for those locks that want bump steals back, I'm going to go out on a limb and say they are back, because I was blitzing the computer on Hall of Fame, and anytime my body hit that ball, the ball popped free. So those lockdowns that were frustrated all of 24 with not being able to get the bump steals they feel they were able to get, or they feel they should have got, I should say, I think you're going to be able to get bump steals like crazy this year. Like, look, I'm blitzing Devin, but it's on Hall of Fame, and I'm just blitzing it. Like, anytime my body hit that ball, it popped free. And testing plucks with the NBA players against the AI is just difficult, because not a lot of the guys have, like, Hall of Fame glove with 99 steal, like a lockdown would, or, anytime I did go for a reach on the ball, I did not get it. Now, there's no right stick ripper, and when I tested it in 24, I was getting a ton of on-ball steals. I didn't test it for very long this year because, I had a limited amount of time and I had to get in the builder and all that, but to me, the main thing that stood out for steals was bump steals. That bump steals felt like they were like really effective. Like, if you position yourself correctly and you get your body onto that basketball, it's going to pop free from the ball handler, which in my opinion takes more skill than getting a pluck steal anyway, so I don't think that's a bad thing. I'm not sure about pluck steals, but they definitely didn't feel how they felt when I tested 2K24 last year at Community Day. Maybe I didn't test them enough, but I will say in the demo mode that I played here, this demo version of the game, bump steals felt really, really good. Some more defense. The bumps that you could get on the ball handler felt good. That on-ball menace, I think that's what they said was like the new clamps, as you see it popping up in the top right-hand corner. You can get a lot of bumps, but like Bill Cartwright right there getting that little blow-by animation on Chris Bosh, I don't think the bumps are like so OP to the point that people won't be able to move. Obviously, I think it's going to depend on what build is playing against what build, what the strength is, what the immovable forcer is, what the lightning launch is on, all that. But Bill Cartwright right there got a blow-by animation moving in slow motion against Chris Bosh. But then I also got some really good bump animations with LeBron against Scottie Pippen. So hopefully it's balanced, and hopefully it's not just super RNG whether you get a good bump or they get a blow by. Hopefully it actually does depend on momentum and badges and attributes and all that. Tough to say against the AI, like I said, but once we get into online gameplay, I think within a couple weeks we will definitely have our answer. We touched on paint defense a little bit already when we were talking about the meter dunks, but it felt pretty good in terms of like if you kept your body between somebody and the hoop, you could definitely wall up. Chase down block right there with LeBron. Definitely can still, chase people down. Nothing crazy there. But did the computer make some red layups on me? Absolutely. Did they make some yellows on me? Absolutely. I think it all depends on your positioning and then also your rating and your badges. Anytime I feel like I was on a good enough defender and I got my body in position to stop a drive, I feel like I got the stop pretty consistently. Also, when I was doing the meter dunks, like I said, it was much harder to meter dunk on a Draymond Green than it was on a Kyrie Irving. So I think size, but then also attributes matter. Like Draymond's defense and badges are definitely a lot better than Kyrie's when it comes to inside. So I think that's also a big factor to take into consideration, but we'll have to wait and see. Okay, here we go again. Post scores, well, every year, bro. Every year. They're going to be godly, bro. They're going to be godly. I'm telling you that right now. You still get the spin throw animations. The post hooks felt good. The post fades felt good. And Joel only has gold post badges. So there's 2 tiers up right? You can go to you can go to Hoff, and then you could go to Legend. So a pure post scorer with Legend post badges. Just get ready, bro. That's all I'm saying. Just get ready. They're back. They are back again. They are back again. The fades felt obviously Embiid has a really good mid-range rating and post control rating and all that. So the fades with him did feel, extremely good. I don't think we're gonna have as high a rating on if you made a 7-3 post score. But I guess potentially you could if you went small wingspan. But anyways, my point is post scores are back. They're gonna be godly. You can still throw people. The drop steps felt really, really good. The hooks, the fades. This was with gold badges. Imagine Legend. Y'all get the point. On and on and on. Post scores. Yet again, they're going to be godly. Another thing to test was the blowout dribble. Now you do it with the flicking the right stick up, and I'll be honest, it did feel better than 2K24. It definitely felt like you could actually kind of get downhill with it. In terms of just getting separation from the opponent, it did feel better, but I was playing against the AI, of course. We got to see when there's another human being sprinting as fast as he can to try to catch up to you. When it comes to ankle breakers, I really only got one, and I didn't even do it on purpose, and it was on a hop jumper, unfortunately. So are ankle breakers back? Are they going to be effective? I'm not really sure. But one thing I will say was when I was dribbling on the perimeter a lot, I would get oohs and ahs from the crowd, and I wasn't getting any crazy ankle breaker. It was almost like I was getting stun animations just from doing small little combos. So it almost seemed like it worked as ankle breaker, but also tight handles. If y'all remember tight handles, we get those stun animations. And it wasn't anything crazy in terms of the stuns.
That presents problems, guys.
Thank you, David.
But I heard the crowd every time I saw the defender wobble, even just a little bit, ooh, ah. We'll see once we get online. I didn't spam to get ankle breakers all that often, but everyone else I talked to said they barely got any. All right, a lot of you guys asked me about Patty Mills' jump shot because it was so good in 24, and I'm gonna be honest, it's still fast. Obviously, this is the actual Patty Mills jump shot. I wasn't able to create a custom Patty Mills with different releases, but it is still really fast. It feels relatively the same as last year. Depending on shot contests and depending on obviously once 2K Labs gets in and tests all the green window sizes for the bases and the releases and all that, it'll determine if it's going to be the best shot in the game again. But in terms of speed and visual looks and everything, I mean, Patty was still pattying. I'm gonna be honest, Patty was still pattying, so it might be one of the best shots on the game again. We'll have to see, and a big determining factor on why Patty Mills was the best shot on 24 was the contest system. Just for whatever reason, Patty would just register opens almost all the time. Even the 5% contests on 24 looked like they should have been reds. It was crazy in terms of negating contests. That's why it really was a crazy, crazy shot on 24. So we'll have to see how that plays out on 25, but it is still on 25 and it's still fast and it looks the same. So for those of you that wanted me to test Patty, there's your quick little review. Well, that's my NBA 2K25 gameplay breakdown. If you're looking for my NBA 2K25 My Player Builder breakdown, click that video on the screen right there. You don't want to miss that. You definitely don't want to miss that one.
different animations, even including taller players like SGA and Luka, and even centers, including Victor Wembanyama. Furthermore, the dribbling looks to be very realism heavy. It's a lot harder to tell when one animation begins and ends as you combo different moves together, making the gameplay overall look more pleasing to the eye. Dribbling overall is very dynamic now, so be sure to have notifications on for when we drop the full dribbling breakdown. The new go-to shots mechanic was something that caught our eye heavily, being you can replicate real NBA footage to a T with most of these. Some look to be better or faster than others, but you can launch explosively out of all of the ones we tested. Similar to the controls of a hop jumper, you would run out of the move right before the player touches the ball with both hands if you were looking to cancel the shot. This makes this one animation alone a very effective move if used correctly. So let's look into Luka's for a second. This animation at the surface looks slower, but this was one of my favorites. So let's break down this play. With Luka, you create separation for the shot, but it's a burst that you can do in either direction that the defender should be scared of. Remember, you are able to cancel the go-to shots and burst in either direction, giving you options on how you want to attack the defense. I start the go-to shot and the defender plays to my ball hand side. A help defender also comes into play on the right, anticipating me launching to the right. We read the defense and then quickly get into our go-to shot to finish the animation. Another favorite is Ja Morant's go-to move. If you're into faster moves, this man gets into his shot a lot faster than the other ones that we've seen. Perfect for those people hunting for the mid-range shot. Next, we found that we couldn't dribble into the defender in front of us anymore like we could in previous 2Ks. The ball handler would either drop the ball or get a fumble animation. We also noticed that this led to a lot of bump steals. Similar to how you couldn't do a blowout dribble into a defender in previous years, now you can't even do a size-up crossover or breakdown combo into them. So the ball physics logic looks to be improved. We maybe seen a few pluck steal animations throughout our time playing, but probably 3 times the bump steals, or a ball handler turning the ball over after dribbling carelessly. This took some getting used to, so be prepared to dribble more carefully going into 2K25. We did also notice lane steals feeling great with the better defenders and a long wingspan. Using Lonzo Ball online felt great when guessing the passing lanes correctly. We also noticed that defensive lateral movement seemed to keep up much easier with ball carriers. I played online with mostly two-way players, but I felt more on top of things than usual with faster lateral movement. This could just be a result of most players not knowing how to dribble or speed boost yet, so we will have to hold off on this final decision of defensive movement being better overall. Some of the smaller things we noticed gameplay-wise was how aggressive the dunks were and the small rim pull after the dunk. We noticed players would pull on the rim, making the rim and the backboard move instead of it being more still like previous years. We also heard talks of it being easier to dunk on smaller and low defense defenders with the dunk meter, but we couldn't test this much at the event, so we will definitely look into this with analyzed testing as early as we can. We also noticed a lot of players overall had faster jump shots than they did in 24. We noticed this heavily with KD and Wembanyama. So if you're a fan of making taller builds, you might be getting some better jump shots heading into 2K25. And we will be testing jump shots as fast as we can to see the speed, make percentages, and green windows as soon as the game officially launches. We noticed that taking advantage of mismatch were a lot easier. We did have some play now footage showcasing this, but even on the online sliders and online difficulty, it almost felt like a guaranteed bucket when taking on a mismatch as a bigger player. On the other side of this, we noticed a lot of blocked shots from help defenders. It seemed like defenders could track the ball down a lot better than what we're used to seeing in previous years. Lastly, we noticed a big improvement in the visuals. I myself am not the biggest visual guy, but these visuals definitely brought a good feeling when playing the game. The lighting and the graphics on player models looks to be a lot better, and mixing that in with heavy realism gameplay felt like watching a real NBA game at times when trying to achieve that look. But that wraps up the general gameplay impressions. The team has been working non-stop getting the website ready with the most useful pages to help you guys on your first build. We plan on doing an in-detail builder breakdown video tomorrow, along with an in-depth dribbling breakdown to set you guys on the right track going into 2K25. So as always, we appreciate you guys for everything. It's been Koza, and I'm out.
Purina Puppy Chow and Kitten Chow. Highly digestible with sensitive
LeBron's Step Back is back in NBA 2K25. Trae Young Escape is back in NBA 2K25. Takeover has been completely revamped in NBA 2K25. From how fast you get it all the way to losing Takeover if you miss a single shot. Dunk Meter has had some minor changes, including when you should start the Dunk Meter animation for the best results. If you think 6'8" builds are going to be too slow and too big to be viable, you are 100% wrong. Mainly because Giannis Antetokounmpo moving crossover will absolutely be feeding slashers families all year long. And finally, there are brand new badges in NBA 2K25, including one specific shooting badge that is the most overpowered badge I have ever seen. And no, it's not Legend Limitless Reign. You just learned 10 things about NBA 2K25 in less than a minute. Imagine how much you'd learn if you watched the whole video. What's up, Simply Squad? It's your boy gameplay guru grinding, and I need y'all to drop a like right now, because the second this video hits 1K likes, I will drop the first ever 3v3 Rivet City Park gameplay on NBA 2K25. And I'm not gonna lie, y'all are in for a treat today, because not only am I breaking down everything you need to know about NBA 2K25's gameplay in this video, tomorrow I'm also gonna be breaking down the entire 2K25 builder. That means I'm showing you guys all 72 takeovers, every single badge requirement, the attribute ratings you need to unlock every single contact dunk animation, and so much more. I'm going so in depth in that video that by the time you're done watching, you will literally be able to lab your 2K25 build a week before you even get on the game. So make sure you're subbed with notifications on so you don't miss out on that. Even if you think you're already subbed, double check and make sure that bell is clicked, because trust me, you do not want to miss out. Now without further ado, let's break down this gameplay. Alright y'all, we're gonna cover things in order of most importance. And the most important change in NBA 2K25 by far are the changes to takeover. In past years, all you need to do to get takeover is make 3 to 4 shots, and then from that point on, you'd have takeover for a predetermined amount of time. That is not how it works at all in NBA 2K25. First off, it takes forever to get takeover this year. To give you an example, it took Steph Curry 42 points, aka 14 3-pointers, to finally get takeover. Now the good news about this is that it seems that this is only a quick play feature, because in 3v3 park gameplay, we were able to see people get takeover at the 17-point mark without even scoring the majority of the points with that player. But regardless, 42 points was insane to me, especially considering I was shooting threes, and usually when you do what the player is meant to do, your takeover shoots up, but that just wasn't the case. And you know what's crazy? That's not even the significant change. The major change in takeover is that once you get takeover, you can literally lose it instantly if you miss your first shot, if you get a turnover, if you throw a bad pass, if you do anything that would negatively affect your takeover, you can lose takeover even when it's activated. Now, do you lose your entire takeover meter that took you forever to build up just because you made one mistake? No, that's also not how it works. Instead of losing your entire takeover meter when you make a mistake, it will just drop to the point right before you had takeover. So if you do something positive again, you will gain takeover again. The best way I can describe takeover this year is a heat check badge in NBA 2K24 that you can gain and lose repeatedly. So obviously y'all already know that takeover is split into 5 levels, and then you get your takeover ability. As you do good things in the game, you will level it up all the way from level 0 to level 5, with each level progressively raising your attribute ratings, and then once you reach level 5, you will unlock your actual takeover ability, whether it's being able to shoot from deep or being able to get more ankle breakers, whatever takeover ability you chose. Now once you get your takeover ability, if you keep doing good things, your takeover ability will stay on your player. But if the first possession you activated your takeover ability, you get a turnover, you will instantly lose your takeover, and the bar will drop to right before you had your takeover, meaning you can activate and reactivate your takeover multiple times throughout a game. Y'all let me know if you think this is a good or bad change for NBA 2K25. I think it's interesting for sure. On the plus side, you'll never have those moments where you make one mistake right before you had takeover and your whole bar just depletes to 0. I know y'all know that feeling sucks, but at the same time, I don't know how I feel about someone activating and reactivating their takeover over and over again throughout the entire game. And I think there might be some sort of timer with this as well, because if you look at the 3v3 park gameplay, you'll see that a player has takeover, and then as he's catching the ball, the takeover disappears. He didn't do anything wrong, no negative thing happened, but he still lost his takeover. And then after he makes the shot, the player gets his takeover back. So my best guess is that your takeover gradually decreases over time. Probably a slight decrease, probably nothing crazy, but I think it's only when you actually have takeover activated. That way you don't have takeover the entire game. The reason I say that is because as you went up takeovers, I never saw a player's takeover go down unless like the quarter ended or something like that, but that's pretty normal. But I did notice players' takeover meter go down when they had takeover, even if no turnover or missed shot happened. We're gonna have to see how it plays out in the park. I think it's gonna be really interesting. But I did take the time to get takeover with Steph Curry, whose takeover I'm pretty sure I can't say the name of, but basically it increases his green window from further out so he can get more consistent greens while shooting deep threes. And I also got Trae Young's takeover, which boosts the effectiveness of off the dribble shooting, as well as raises his chance of getting ankle breakers. And the last thing I'll say about takeover is if if you're overwhelmed with the fact that there's 72 takeovers, there's actually 14 takeover abilities, like the 2 I just named, and then there's 72 ways to get to those takeovers. If that sounds confusing to you, good. You have a reason to watch tomorrow's video where I can go in depth and explain exactly what I mean. So make sure you're subscribed with notifications on so you do not miss out on that video. Now, the next major change in NBA 2K25 is the dribbling system. You cannot speed boost the same way you did in NBA 2K24 in NBA 2K25. Now, I know the 2K community. I know all y'all heard out of that sentence was you cannot speed boost in NBA 2K25. And that's just not true. You can speed boost in NBA 2K25, just not the same way you did in 2K24. To speed boost last year, all you had to do was do a hezzy to the right side and sprint to the right side, and you would get a speed boost to the right side. And vice versa, if you did a hezzy to the left side and sprinted to the left side, you would get a speed boost to the left side. But if you try to do that in NBA 2K25, you get a really slow run animation. Basically, a run animation that will not get you open against any real human unless they are missing both of their thumbs. Instead, the most effective way to get open in NBA 2K25 is by utilizing your right and left stick. Somebody please show this clip I got to Stizo. It's nothing crazy in the slightest, it's not even good, but you can clearly see the difference between how fast your player moves when you only use your right stick and how fast your player moves when you incorporate left stick dribble moves with your right stick combo. And the reason I said show it to Stizo is because this little mini spin back thing I do, it just seems like something he would do like a half hezzy out of and turn it into a crazy combo. Listen, I'm not a comp dribbler, I've never claimed to be one. All I am is a 2K no life who sweats the park, so I'ma leave the dribbling and speed boost into the dribble head. But for my 2K players out there who want to have a high win percentage on day one, I did go out of my way to find the best dribble moves you should equip if your build allows it. So let's go over those right now. 2 returning moves from 2K24 that are still good on 2K25 are of course the LeBron step back and the Trae Young size up escape. A new animation that's really good in 2K25 is the Trae Young hezzy, which you can see gives you a misdirection animation that you can combo into a left stick crossover to get a speed boost on the opposite side. Literally any dribble animation from De'Aaron Fox is goated. You can just instantly see that when he's dribbling, it looks way more fluent than any other NBA player in the entire game. And finally, the dribble move that I predict will save 6'6" and taller builds this year is the Giannis Antetokounmpo moving crossover. I'm not even trolling, I will be so surprised if there's even one crossover better than this crossover at launch. I tested out hundreds of NBA players during my time with this quick play footage, and not a single one came even close to competing with the explosiveness you get out of this moving crossover. You literally just fly through the paint and it crosses over to the opposite ball hand, so the defense doesn't have time to react. Now, I will say this is obviously on Giannis, who is 6'10" and super long, but I just can't see this dribble move not being overpowered on a 6'8" max wingspan ISO build. Just absolutely steamrolling through the paint. Between this moving crossover and the blowout dribble from last year, which by the way the controls changed for, instead of just tapping RT to do this blowout dribble from full court, you actually have to hold RT and flick up on your right stick. Just something I wanted y'all to know. Different controls, same effectiveness, just a really fast way for you to get up the court, but you can only use it from full court now, so once you get to half court, you can implement this Giannis moving crossover and get a free fast break done. Now, I don't want to go too into dribbling because y'all know how it goes. First week, everyone always figures out the meta sigs, and then the rest is history from there. What I will say, my first impressions on the dribbling is that speed boosting is completely changed, meaning there's obviously a different way to do it in the game this year that isn't like any other year. And 2, the dribble moves that we did get I actually like a lot. We just need to figure out how to speed boost out of them for them to be actually effective. And I've heard that a couple creators at Community Day have figured it out, which gives me a lot of hope. On the off chance that the speed boosting is terrible off of these new cool looking moves, I'm not gonna lie, Mike, we gonna need a hot fix because being able to speed boost off these new moves would make the game fun. Alright, so we've covered takeover, we've covered dribbling. The next change we need to cover is a minor change to the dunk meter. First, let's talk about the driving dunk meter. The controls are exactly the same as they were last year. You flick up on your right stick and then you flick down on your right stick, which will allow you to go for a nasty contact dunk animation, and some of the animations are insane. A lot of them are just outright disrespectful to your opponent, bro. I love it. But what I did notice is it was taking me a little bit longer to get used to the dunk meter this year, because whenever I was going for the dunk meter, it wouldn't do it. And about 2 hours in, I finally realized the reason the dunk meter wasn't activating is because you have to start the dunk meter animation way earlier this year. My pro tip to you guys, if you're making a build that has a high driving dunk, like I am going to, I want legend posterizer. buzzer. But if you're gonna be going for contact dunks with the dunk meter, you wanna start the dunk meter animation right before you get to the free throw line. I know that sounds insane, especially on a small build like John Morant's build. He's 6'3". You would think that you would have to start it closer to the paint, but genuinely, you start the dunk meter animation right when you're about to cross the free throw line. If you do that every time you go for a dunk meter, you will actually start the dunk meter animation. I promise you. But if you try and risk it and wait till you're closer in the paint and do a last second dunk meter, you're gonna be getting a lot of contact layups, or your player is just gonna do a random hezzy in the paint and it's gonna look really stupid. So just make sure to write that in your notes somewhere, have that in your head. Whenever you're doing the dunk meter, if it's not working for you and you don't know why, you have to start the animation right when you're about to cross the free throw line. And I genuinely can't wait till tomorrow where I can show you footage of me absolutely dunking on everybody there at community day with my small guard build, because I knew this information and a lot of them didn't. So the reactions I got from a lot of them when I was dunking on them with a tiny little build from all the way past the free throw line was hilarious. And then the standing dunk meter is pretty much the same. The only real changes I noticed is that one, there's no dead zone anymore, mainly because you can't jab step in the paint anymore. It's just not a control that's allowed in the paint. And two, as someone who struggled to do standing dunk meters, it seemed a lot easier to get the animation to go off this year. So if you struggled like me in the past with a standing dunk meter, you should find it easier this year. And if you didn't struggle at all, you're gonna find it really easy to activate the standing dunk animation. I did see some dead zone like animations from people against AIs where it seemed like they got a rebound and then there was nothing the AI could really do, and then they just did a standing dunk, contact dunk right over their face. But honestly, it's quick play. We're not gonna really know until we actually play against each other in the rec and park if they did fix the dead zone glitch, I guess you could call it. It's just something we're gonna have to wait and see, but for the most part, the standing dunk meter seemed relatively the same, if not then with minimal changes. The next thing we need to talk about are the brand new badges, specifically one overpowered brand new badge that I'm predicting is going to be a staple of NBA 2K25. Do me a favor and look at these 6 badges right here. Now I want you to pause the video and comment down below which badge you think is going to be the most overpowered all year long. Alright, I'm gonna give you a second. Okay, hopefully you got your answers down in the comments. If you guessed Limitless Range, congratulations, you are wrong. But if you guess Deadeye, you are also wrong. Now, if you guess Shifty Shooter, you are 100% right. This badge is used so often in gameplay, it's actually ridiculous. But granted, what does it do? Well, if you only read the description, you would think that it increases your green window when you shoot fades or off the dribble shots. But just like Agent 3's this year, Shifty Shooter activates on every single shot you shoot. It doesn't matter if it's a catch and shoot jump shot, it doesn't matter if you dribbled a couple times, stopped for 8 seconds, and then shot it. It doesn't matter if you shoot a fade from Narnia. No matter what shot you shoot, as long as it would be considered a jump shot, Shifty Shooter activates and increases your green window drastically. Now, why am I telling you this? Because tomorrow we get to show you the builder, and while you're watching those builder videos, you need to keep in mind that you want to have Shifty Shooter on your build, and you want to have it at the highest tier possible for the best results. Whether that's getting Shifty Shooter to Hall of Fame in the builder and then using your max +1 to get it legend, or if you're making some type of build that can't get the shooting requirements to get it that high, then I'd at least suggest to try and make your build get gold Shifty Shooter so you can either use cap breakers or max +1 to get it to Hall of Fame. It is super rare for 2K to drop a badge that activates nearly every single offensive possession that doesn't end in a rim run. So yes, if I was going to make a tier list about potential badges before NBA 2K25 drops, Shifty Shooter would be S tier and everything else would be a tier below. Now, you've sat here and watched this 10, 15, 20-minute video, whatever it is so far, and you haven't heard me mention Adrenaline once. And that's because Adrenaline is exactly the same in NBA 2K25 as it was in NBA 2K24. I'm talking not a single difference in the Adrenaline system, which for the most part is a good thing. I liked how Adrenaline worked in 2K24. Some people may argue that they don't want Adrenaline at all, but I mean, it's in the game, so if it's in the game, I'd want it implemented as it was in 2K24, except for one thing. I had this complaint all the way last year after last community day, and the complaint is that post scores still do not lose any adrenaline meter no matter what they do in the post. They can hold LT and back you down for 24 seconds, do 8 drop steps, 15 pump fakes, and not lose a single adrenaline meter. And I really wish that would change. One, because post scores are always one of the most overpowered builds in 2K every single single year. Legitimately, there's not a single year where post scores have been a bad build to use on the 1 score. And 2, tomorrow you're gonna see that this year, it is ridiculously easy to get every legend badge you would want on a post score without sacrificing anything else you would need. Like, genuinely, you cannot make a bad post score build, at least for the 1s court where they're meant to be played. Yes, you can make a bad post score build for the 2s or 3s because you need defense and pass accuracy and stuff like that, but for the 1s court, you can make an overpowered post score build, get every legend badge in the game that you would want, and still have attributes left over. So the fact that they don't lose any adrenaline no matter what they do, it just seems like overkill to me, and it's the one thing I would really want to see changed about the game. If not for 2K25, then at least on 2K26. I'm not trying to hate on y'all post scores. Listen, it's no secret that I don't like y'all's playstyle, but I do believe that everybody should have fun on the game with whatever build they want to run. I just want this changed for the sake of balance. But yeah, like I said, no changes to adrenaline. Other than that, everything that you did on 2K24 to lose an adrenaline meter is everything you would do to lose an adrenaline meter on 2K25, so you should expect the exact same in that department. Does strength matter? We hear the rumors about strength every single year. Oh, you need strength this year, you're gonna get punished if you don't go it. From what I saw at Community Day, I'm gonna say the same thing I said last year again this year. You will only need strength if you want a badge associated with strength in the builder. But do you need strength because you saw Giannis bulldoze someone in this quick play gameplay? No. Do you need strength because you saw LeBron absolutely bully someone in this quick play gameplay? No. But let's say you're making a lockdown and you want a certain defensive badge that goes off of your strength rating, then yes, you would need strength on your build. Me personally, on a lot of my builds, I'm not going strength. Why? Because I didn't get baited last year when it came to strength, and I did perfectly fine, 95 win percentage basically every single season. And I'm not gonna get baited this year when it comes to strength. Yes, some of my builds will have strength, but only the builds that I want the certain badges that go along with strength. Not because I'm afraid of one of you guys coming out on a 6'10" and absolutely botting me in the paint. So to answer the does strength matter question, yes, it matters, but only for reasons specific to the builder, not gameplay related reasons. Nobody can affirmatively say that it has gameplay related repercussions based off of quick play. And if they are super adamant that you need to upgrade strength because if not you're gonna get bulldozed, they are 100% gassing it. Nobody can tell the real gameplay from quick play animations against AI. It's just not how it works. And don't worry, we'll go more into depth about strength in tomorrow's video with the builder breakdown. And the last thing I want to talk about before I give y'all my final overview of thoughts of what I think about the game is the defense in NBA 2K25, more specifically the blitz, steals, and paint defense. Now take this with a grain of salt because we are playing against AIs at the end of the day, but from what I've seen, it felt pretty much similar with the blitz steals. You run up and you time a good steal, you'll get the steal. And for paint defense, I really couldn't tell because again, we're against AI players. We're really not going to know how it feels until we get in the rec, get in the pro-am, get in the park, and see how it feels against online real players. You may have noticed that in this video, I didn't really cover how the defense is, how the finishing is, and like the make or miss percentages of what you should expect on offense or what you should expect on defense, because for me, it seems disingenuous. Again, you can't really tell too much off quick play gameplay. So I didn't want to come on here and be like, oh yeah guys, paint defense looks way better, and then you load up the rec on day one and then you're getting dunked on over and over again. Or be like, oh yeah, limitless range is overpowered because I'm greening shots on pro and rookie difficulty in quick play. Like the shots that I'm making and the shots that I'm taking here are not a good representation of 2K25's online gameplay that we're going to experience in the park. So instead, I decided to hit y'all with the cold hard facts. I hope y'all appreciate that. Obviously not including the post score nerf. That's just for the balance of the game. That obviously is my opinion. But I hope y'all can appreciate that I just wanted to give y'all everything that we know to be true in 2K25 instead of what I think should be true in 2K25. But anyways, my final thoughts on the game so far. I think it is a really solid base. The first thing I want to say is Cap Breakers and Max Plus 1 are probably the greatest addition we've had to a launch of 2K in like 5 years. I'm telling you, just the potential of your player getting better over time in itself with the Cap Breakers is just such a good idea. I wish I thought of it. Like genuinely, 2K deserves props for that because it is actually such a good incentive to keep people playing the game. The only question marks I have about the replayability of NBA 2K25 so far is actually going to come with the rev system. If the rev system's bad, then the cap breakers aren't going to be enough to keep people on the game. But if the rev system's good, and then we have the cap breakers on top of it, we could have a lit game all year. So I really hope they cooked with the rewards. Obviously, I don't know anything about it, but if they did, we'll be in for a great year. If they didn't, it could get a little shaky, so we're gonna have to see. The actual dribble moves they added in the game, I like them a lot. Like the Trae Young, the De'Aaron Fox, John Moran had some good dribble moves. The individual dribble moves, I like them a lot. Not being able to speed boost out of them like we normally would has me a little scared, because if we can't speed boost, then the dribble moves don't matter. That's the whole point we use the OP dribble moves, is so we could get like a fast little agility out of it and we can beat our defenders. So if they added these super cool new moves and you can't get that burst of acceleration out of it, then it's gonna be rough, I can't lie. But that's where I'm gonna have faith in the dribblers to find the way to speed boost this year, and then we all adjust, and then we can all use these new creative moves, so not everyone is using LeBron step back, Jamal Murray behind the back, and doing the exact same thing. And then finally, the takeover system, I think it's a good idea if it's implemented properly, if it doesn't take too long in part games to get it. We want to get it around like 12 to 15 points so you could use it for 3 possessions. So we're gonna have to see how fast you can get takeover. Maybe there's takeover perks that allow you to get it quicker like we had last year. Who knows? We're gonna have to see. I like that you don't lose your entire takeover bar if you mess up, but you can also go in and out of takeover super easily. It just rewards you for playing well and punishes you for playing bad, which I think should be a good thing. A lot of the time this year you see someone get takeover and start shooting crazy shots, and then they keep takeover because it's on a timer instead of how they're playing. So now it should keep people a little humble, because if they mess around too much, they're gonna lose their takeover and then they just don't have it anymore. And then finally, the shooting. I'm not gonna talk about the successive makes or anything. Again, I was on a low difficulty to get this gameplay, but the shooting, there is a lot of customization this year, meaning you can choose exactly where you want your jump shot to release whenever you make a custom jump shot. You can choose high risk, high reward if you're a skilled player, or you can choose low risk, low reward if you're just trying to learn the game. There's just a lot of customization, and that's all we want as 2K players, is being able to control everything our player does. I'm hoping eventually in the future we have even more control over our dribble moves, like maybe we can combine certain dribble moves to make our own rhythm dribble. I think that'd be pretty cool. And one dribble move that I didn't see that I really hope makes a comeback one time is, if you remember on 2K19, if you flicked up on your right stick, you could like back up to the 3-point line and shoot immediately after that, and you would get like a normal timing on your jump shot. I don't know, I just missed that move so much. I really hope that comes back in a 2K one day. But anyways, y'all, that's pretty much it. That's everything you need to know about NBA 2K25's gameplay. If you still have questions, drop them down below. I'll be answering questions all day while I'm editing the other videos. Make sure you subscribe with notifications on for the builder video tomorrow. Trust me, you're not gonna want to miss it. But until then, thank y'all so much for watching. I love you all, and as always, keep grinding.
Balling.